Well, we're going to turn now to Congressman Ed Markey, one of the leading voices on energy in Congress. I must say, Congressman, to think that this story would be the second story we'd be dealing with this morning just underlines how big both these stories are.
It's historic, obviously, what's happening in Libya, but it's also historic what is happening in Japan, because obviously there's a tragedy and we care for the people over there. But at the same time, it is calling into question the viability of nuclear power in the United States.
And you have called for a moratorium. Why?
Well, I've called for a moratorium on the siting of new nuclear power plants on earthquake-prone areas of our country. And that is because we should just be humble in the face of Mother Nature. We should understand that it's very difficult for us to guarantee that a catastrophic meltdown cannot happen in our country, and we should ensure that we act cautiously given the Japanese meltdown and given their kind of technological equivalency with the United States in terms of our ability and their ability to deal with what Mother Nature might present to either of our countries as a challenge.
And talking about big stories, the overwhelming impact of both of these stories has kind of caused us to not pay much attention to what's been going on up on Capitol Hill, where they've been dealing with budgets and such. What's been happening up there?
Well, up there, unbelievably, the nuclear industry was able just 3 weeks ago to convince the Republican House of Representatives to zero out the loan guarantee money for wind and solar and geothermal and to put in $18 billion in taxpayer guaranteed loan guarantees for the nuclear industry. Well, that's ancient history already, because it's pretty clear that the nuclear industry, as an electrical generating part of our mix for the future, is now going to meet its maker in the marketplace. It won't be protesters, it will be Wall Street investors that are going to be raising real questions about its viability going forward.
Let me go back to the situation in Japan. Are you confident that we know what's happening there? Are we to believe the reports coming out of the Japanese government?
I think that transparency has been increasing. I think that there is increasing cooperation between the Department of Energy and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in our country and what is going on in Japan. You can never have 100% confidence, especially where there is an electric utility involved, because they're always trying to look at their own long-term financial well-being. We saw that in the United States at 3 Mile Island. But I think right now there is a level of cooperation that is helping to reduce the likelihood that the problem is going to get worse.
Do we know what the radiation levels are in the food, for example?
I've called upon the Federal Drug Administration to begin monitoring of food coming in from Japan and for fish that is caught in Pacific waters near Japan, because we should now have some knowledge about what is happening. Obviously, in spinach and in milk, some miles away from that plant, they're now picking up radiation in those food products. So we should act with some caution here as well.
Do you see any danger to the United States in the atmosphere from what's happened there?
At this point, there's no reason to panic, without question. I think right now we're still at safe levels. But in the future, I think it does make the case for the implementation of my 2002 law, which requires to have potassium iodide given to people from the 10 to 20 mile radius around nuclear power plants in order to protect against thyroid cancer being contracted in children. Right now, that has not happened. The Bush administration did not implement my law, but I think what we're seeing in Japan with radiation levels going out 20 miles and beyond, that we should act with some caution in the future and ensure that potassium iodide is made available.
Congressman, thank you so much for bringing your insight.